After logging into Ellumin, you will be in the inbox and you will be in the first tab called My Assessments. My Assessments lists all of the assessments that you need to submit and have completed submitting in Ellumin for the past year. In this tab, there's a number inside of a red circle. That number indicates the number of assessments that have not yet been completed under the to-do area. The to-do area and the completed area list assessments from the past year. You can search for specific assessments by using this search bar here and typing in the terms for the assessment you want to find, and it will show up here. If you clear the search bar, you'll see all of the assessments in your to-do and complete area. What you see is the name of the course and section information, the name of the assessment, and the name of the assessment activity. Beneath that, this blue label here indicates the total number of students scored for this scorecard and the total number of students on the roster. Here, there are no students scored, so it's 0 out of 12. And if there were scores, this fraction would change to indicate the number of students scored over the number of students in the roster. This next label indicates the term for this assessment. In the to-do area, the most recent term is at the bottom of the list. To submit scores, you hover your mouse over the score button for the scorecard that you want to submit scores for. A drop-down appears with two options, Scorecard View and Import Scores. For this guide, we are going to go over how to input scores manually, so I will select Scorecard View. I click on that. You are now in the scorecard. To submit scores, what you do is for every student, for every SLO, you select 1 if the student met the outcome, 0 if the student did not attain the outcome, NA if the student was not assessed. For example, they were unable to take the assessment or they dropped out of the class. So what you do is you click on the cell you want, and you have to make sure that every single row has something selected. Otherwise, the scorecard will not be complete. For each SLO row, there can only be one option selected, either 1, 0, or NA. If you need to change something, you would just select the other option, other than the one that you had selected. So for here, instead of 1, if I want to select 0 and I click on it, the 0 is now selected. If I want to clear the entire row, I just select the 0 again and nothing is selected. Please make sure that for each SLO row, there is something selected. It is easy to overlook that a row is missing either a 1, 0, or NA checked off, and you would think that it is complete when it's not. So for example here, since I unchecked the selections, this is blank, I need to check something. If I left this as is and saved it, and I went back to the inbox, I would see that this scorecard is still in my to-do area, and here it indicates that I had scored 14 out of 15 students. So to go back and fix that, I hover over the score button and I click on the scorecard view to go back to my scorecard, and now I can make sure that the rows missing scores have scores submitted. This last column here is where you can enter annotations if you want for any of the assessment scores that you are submitting. If you were to click on one, a pop-up appears and you would input your name here and type whatever you want here. Click Save to save it, or cancel if you don't want to submit the annotation. Again, this is optional, and if you need to update the annotation, you just click on that icon again and you would add an updated annotation. After you are done submitting scores, what you will do is click on Save and Continue to Reflection so that you can input your reflection regarding the assessment scores that you submitted. Once you're done typing in your reflection, you can submit and share if you want your name and section number visible, or you can submit and share anonymously if you want that information hidden. If you're not ready to submit, you would click Save Draft. Then a pop-up appears regarding what to do next. You would click on the first item, Go to My Assessments, to return to the inbox if you have more scores to submit and enter. All these other areas are other locations in Ellumin that you can go to. Currently, we do not use RFI responses and we do not have action plans, so there's nothing for you to do there. If you want to see the data that you submitted in a table or graphical format for this course, you can click on Results Explorer. You can also go to the Courses tab by clicking Go to Courses. For this guide, I'm going to go back to my assessments inbox. So I'm going to click there. And now I am in my inbox. And you see that the assessment I submitted is no longer in the to-do area. It is now in the completed area. And in the completed area, you can see that for the assessments I submitted, the label here is green and it shows all of the students on the roster have been scored. If you want to view the scores, to either just view them or make edits, you can find the assessment that you want and hover your mouse over the View button. A drop-down appears and you can click on Scorecard View to go back to that scorecard. Now, to go back to the inbox here, what you can do if you didn't need to make any changes is to click on the inbox button up here. Otherwise, if you did make changes, you would click Save or Save and Continue to Reflection. I'm going to go back to the inbox, so I'm going to click on Inbox, and now I am back in the inbox.